When you're an immigrant, you're always an outsider. I've lived in this country for over probably 35 years, and I think I've assimilated well. I mean, I went to school over here, I got my education, I think I have a very good command of the English language. But no matter how much I assimilate, there's always a deep sense of me that I am still standing on the edges and observing the culture to which I've assimilated. And that observation in itself, I think, gives you a creative perspective that somebody that's born into a culture might not have.
I've always been an outsider, even in my childhood, even in my city. I've been just that weirdo kid. The weirdo kid came to America, immigrated to America, and yeah, became even more of an outsider.